Hello everybody, welcome to part 3 of my tutorial for the junk journal that I'm making for CraftyCity.com, and this is all part of the YouTube Pop celebrating Crafty City's 10-year anniversary. So make sure you check out the link to the first video in the description box below, and there you'll find all the information about the hop, about the kit that I'm using, the prize giveaways, the coupon codes, all that good stuff. Also, I'd like to remind you to watch my tutorials all the way through before you get started on your project. I do make changes and do some troubleshooting, so let me do all the hard work for you. I'd also like to invite you to subscribe to my channel, and a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. For the closure, all you need to do is punch a hole in the center of your covers about 1/4 of an inch in, and I just used my crocodile and I set this setting at 1/4 of an inch, and then I just punched my hole there, and then I also used this to set my eyelets. And let's see if I can find my little sample here. And so I have a little piece here that is all the same layers that are here. So I have the cardboard, 2 layers of paper, 2 layers of fabric, and I just punched my holes and set some eyelets. I did 2 different settings with the eyelet. I never can remember which prong I should use for my eyelet setter. So I just did a couple samples there and picked the one I like the best, and I just used some white eyelets that I had on my stash. They weren't super long, so that's why I had to test to make sure they'd go through all that thickness. And it just presses down on the cardboard a little bit, but it works. And then for the ribbon, I want to say I have about 26 inches on each side, uh, give or take. And then I just fold that in half, and then I string it through the eyelet, and then I take my ends and stick them through the loop, and then just pull, and then I tied a knot just to keep that in place. Whoops. Okay. Let's see if I can actually do something very simple like tie a knot. And there you have it. There is your closure. So easy peasy. So I wanted to create some tags for the journal using these strips that I cut out from the front cover. And I'm just going to start with these 2 for now. I don't think I want to do every single strip that I cut out from the cover the same. So I cut 4 pieces of scrap paper into this tag shape and glued 2 together back to back to make my tags. I do like to have a little bit of sturdiness in my tags, so even though the papers are double-sided, I just wanted that sturdy, makes a nice really thick card layer. And of course I've inked around the edges, and I still have yet to sew this one, and the other one is sewed, and I've added a tab from that I created from my Stampin' Up! Tab punch, and I just used some copy dyed paper for that, and I think they turn out really cute. I love the brick there. I think it's still able to have some journaling there, and I could always add a little piece of paper for journaling if I want to, but I probably wouldn't if it was mine. But anyways, so that's where I've started, and these tags are, I don't know if I mentioned, they're 3.5 by 7. I've already gone ahead and sewed this one as well. I did have a little bit of an oopsie with the sewing machine, so I've got a little bit of tear right there, but I think I can make sure that's glued down and cover that up a little bit. And then, yeah, so I was thinking I'd like this one here, and then I'm not sure on this one. I think I'm going to do this one the opposite way and do this one here. So I've got some just literally just leftover scraps of trims. And I've got, in addition to the ephemera pieces I cut out from the kit, I've got just miscellaneous stuff. What I'm gonna do, oh, and um, I also have this. These are ripped up pieces of a napkin from McDonald's, and I'm gonna use these. And so I'm just gonna fast forward so you don't have to, you know, take the whole time to hum and haw with me on how I want to decorate my tags.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
So my tags are complete and I'm very happy with them. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a close-up. And I think that's pretty good for just some scrap from the top of the paper pack and a couple little things here and there left over from cutting the papers and a paper napkin. And so I think these came out really fun and really pretty. There's a bit of simple elegance to them, I think. And so yeah, I'm really happy with that. All right, so I think I'm going to try and decoupage this envelope here. I'm going to try and keep the window in there. So we'll see how this goes. I haven't done this before, so of course the envelope's taller than the journal and I don't want it sticking out of there. So I'm going to trim it to fit in the page. And I'm trying to decide if I want to make that a top opening pocket or leave it a little bit open on the side there. I haven't decided yet. So now I'm going to trim the flap on the side I just cut so that it'll match the flap on the other side. So what I want to do is just find a piece of paper that I can glue on top of this, and then I'll just glue that edge down. Hopefully that will keep this in place, and then that will work. So my original idea was to make a tag that had the image that would fit right where the opening is of the envelope. And I just didn't find anything that I thought looked good on a tag. The image would have had to sit on the very, very bottom of the tag. So I decided just to glue an image behind the cellophane opening of the window inside of the envelope and then just slide a tag behind it. But that was really hard to do once I put that envelope together. So if you're going to do that, make sure that you do that before you put anything on your envelope and you have that opening on the side there that you can kind of open up and glue something behind there. So that is my little tip for doing that.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together.
So I wanted to show you this rice paper napkin that I got at Crafty City a few years ago. And I just got it because I thought it was really pretty and I knew that one day I'd use it in a journal or a project or something. Well, I think today's the day. I think that this will go really well with some of the elements in the collection and it'll be really pretty. And then I did check and this is no longer available, this particular one, but there were others that I think would go even better with your kits. So when you're ordering that, make sure you pick up a couple of napkins. They're huge. When I open this up, you'll see how huge it is. And this can do a ton of projects. So it's just a really nice thing to have. And here is the napkin. And I mean, I can't even scroll out, but you can just see how big it is. It's larger than 12 by 12, definitely. It's like 14 by 14 maybe or something like that. And all four sides are different, so there's not a duplicating pattern like your typical napkin that you buy at the store. So you have lots of different options. Um, hmm. So I think no, that one's more blue. Ooh, I think that would be kind of cool to have the butterflies sitting kind of on top of the opening like that. So I'm kind of favoring that, and I don't mind that there's the information underneath because it's muted out with the napkin. And then I'm hoping I can salvage this inside. So I have to think a minute how I want to do this and salvage the inside, which I'm not sure I'm going to be able to, but so I'm going to think about it and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got my silicone mat out and my paintbrush, my collage medium, and I cut a section of the napkin off, and I think this is about where I'm gonna, well, actually, I kind of want the butterfly on the corner. So I'm gonna have to waste a little bit, but maybe we can save it for something else. So what I ended up doing was brushing the collage medium over the entire front of the envelope and then including the opening on the left there, and then I was just very careful not to get any on that cellophane window opening.
You and me, we meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
And now I'm just carefully placing the napkin over the envelope and smoothing it out and trying to make sure there are no bubbles and that everything is nice and smooth.
Sometimes you need to go.
All right, so I think this is dry enough to try and remove the window. And while I was away, I watched a YouTube video by Tracy Fox. She had did a napkin over a window opening, and so I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. So I'm going to try it, see how it works, but I don't think that the middle is going to be saved. Doesn't seem like that's going to be an option. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little bit wet here. And in fact, I'm going to try, I can kind of see where my window is. So I'm going to get all that wet and then just kind of tear that away.
Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors.
There, I kind of like that I left the, because I thought about using white gesso on the envelope, but I'm glad I left that there because it just looks like maybe I stamped right there, or that it's part of the tissue. And I think it looks good. So the window area was not quite dry when I first started, so I finished the outside, and now I'm going to go back and try to remove all of the tissue paper from the window opening. Alright, so I finished my envelope and I did another layer of collage medium on the top of the rice paper, and then when that was dry I went ahead and inked all the edges and did some stitching, and then it's going to set in the journal like this. And I still need to make a tag go inside, and then on the inside here I'm just going to go ahead and attach this down to this page here. I'm trying to decide if I'll make that a bit of a tuck spot, and then this page will set inside here, and I've decoupaged a butterfly onto the corner. And this is still, it's just not quite dry, almost. And then I took a piece of leftover letter paper and I put it on the side like this, and I added what was left of my napkin and added it to this, and this is still drying as well, but once it's completely dry, I'm going to stitch around and then put some kind of a topping on that. All right, so this is the completed tag, and I have added the coffee dyed paper to the back and stitched around the edges, and I've added this trim that Archana gave me in the kit, and then the other half of that trim I've added here, and this is a ribbon ruffle that I made on my sewing machine, and then I just glued it onto this little tuck spot here. So then this little piece is just going to go in here, and then I've added this grandfather clock here, and I did ink that just a little bit with the ink that I was using on the papers. And then this tag I'm going to paper clip to this page here, and then I took another piece of that napkin and decoupage this flower onto the book page here. And I still have about 3/4 of my napkin left, so wow, a little goes a long way. And then let's see. So here is my completed napkin in the page, and I did add a word strip here to cover up the one that was pretty much cut off there. And then I went ahead and glued this entire flap down. I thought about making it a tuck spot, but then decided against it and used this fussy cut flower as my tuck spot. Did a little bit more collaging here, I think I mentioned that. And then I've made a couple more little tags from those strips from the front cover, and these I've just cut down and added the coffee dyed paper, some stitching, and the tab punches from my Stampin' Up! Punch. And these I punched out of a coffee dyed paper that was a heavier weight than the coffee paper, just to give a little added stability. And then I also inked them up just a little bit to give them a different color than on the back of the paper here. Just added a little more gray to that. And so I'm going to tuck this one here like that, and then this one's tucked into this spot here. And then I did record this, but I lost the recording, or I deleted it. I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, this is just an index card, and this is a piece of vellum that has a brick wall look to it, and I just glued around the edges there and did some sewing, and then I added some ephemera from the collection. And then these papers right here are just leftover scraps from the music paper. So I ripped these instead of trimming them with my trimmer, and there was just these little bits and pieces that had numbers on them and whatnot. So I've just included those, and then there's just a little bit of that brown napkin from McDonald's on there. So I just think it came out really cool. It did like waterlog a little bit, and I don't know if that's just because that's what vellum does. Usually when I use vellum, I make it like a shaker and I just glue the edges. I haven't had that problem before. But anyway, I'm going to tuck that here in this pocket. And really, I just can't think of anything else that I need to go over that isn't self-explanatory. And I do cover some things in the walkthrough video. But however, if you are a beginner and you don't understand something, or maybe you're just not quite sure of what I did, please don't hesitate to ask. I think that's it. So it's been a process, but I've enjoyed it, and I think it came out so beautiful, and I'm really happy with it. And I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I would invite you again to subscribe to my channel, and a thumbs up would be so appreciated. And then also don't forget the coupon code, which is K10, that's capital K, AY10. I'll have all that in the description box below with a link to Archana's store. So don't forget to take advantage of that before Mother's Day 2022. So thank you so much for watching and sharing this time with me. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.